geeking out loud while you sneak around. See, I'm the one they speaking about. This key blast to throw you in the air and spin your feet around. We geeking out loud. I put the cartridge in the system and I'm hitting everybody in existence. Came to get it all. You see the writing on the wall. If I'm Naruto in the water, then I'm Sasuke before the fall. Luffy after the hockey. I'm Zoro drinking the sake. Try to fight me, I get Brocky like we Spiros and Brawley. You gon' need the HMs, the TM. I said I'm trying to hit. She said ditto in the DM. She reach in, I'm preaching. Attack of the Titans. I went colossal on the weekend. Colossus with the X-Men. I'm Wolverine, I'm a weapon. I'm hotter than everybody. I dedicated the body. You hardly outside. We geeking, you never started.
What's up, y'all? Dr. Geekly here, and welcome to Geeking Out Loud, where we talk about movies, games, anime, comics, all your geeky, nerdy loves. And if you're interested in geeky, nerdy topics, make sure to like, subscribe, and yeah, share our content. And with us is a special guest with us today is Marc from Blerdography.
What's going on?
And Merry Christmas Eve, everyone, by the way.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
And have a blessed holiday, and hope you get everything you wanted except for Co. But yes, today we are talking about the Superman trailer from James Gunn's new DCU, and we're talking about Black Panther 3, and we're talking about Jean Grey casting. So yeah, let's get to it, because I know everyone's busy on the holidays. But
okay.
Marc, how did you feel about the Superman trailer, by the way?
So I gotta be honest. I'm gonna be 100% honest.
Okay.
I am a religious Superman denier. So like seeing another Superman trailer just doesn't really appeal to me like that. But after watching the trailer and seeing, which I'm sure we're gonna talk about the trailer a little bit, but after seeing the trailer and seeing James Gunn's production, since he's the director of it, I'm a huge fan of James Gunn.
Yeah.
They're bringing back the classic look Superman. The opening shot of the trailer was anime-inspired Goku in the crater, and Superman in the ice crater. So I picked up on that. I see what they're doing. They're poking fun at the fans. So I'm like, all right, I think I want to just watch it just to see where it goes, especially with I don't know if they're cameos, because I guess this is the start of the new DCU.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, the DC Cinematic Universe. And I guess this is a reboot of that. So they seem to got the right person in charge, and hopefully they've learned from their past mistakes with the DCEU and the Snyder Cut and all that stuff. So I'm intrigued. Just because of you got I don't know if we're doing a spoiler-free section or whatever, but
we're doing spoilers because everyone that watched it knows about Superman, and if they want details, then yeah, it'll come to us.
Okay. All right. So they had Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, which is a very interesting choice for Green Lanterns. Out of all of them you could choose. Hawk Girl had a cameo. I saw Mr. Terrific, Crypto, the Super Dog. Wait, say that again.
Metamorpho, the Element Man or whatever.
Oh yeah, Metamorpho. So they had some interesting characters in there, that I want to see besides Superman. And then I do kind of want to know who knocked the hell out of Superman. Not too many people can do that.
Man, it's like, I don't know. When I heard Guy Gardner was gonna be in it, I was like, for one, everyone knows he is a asshole basically in the comics. He is
right.
Cocky. And it's like, oh bro, he's gonna go up there, and I thought he was gonna pick a fight with Superman, but he didn't. It seemed like he was Superman was stressed in the trailer, and he was putting a wall in front of the windows to shield Superman, from the pressure. It seemed like he was shielding the building where Superman was. So it looks like Superman was stressed out. So I thought he was okay, the homie stress, let's put a barrier around him and the people. So, but the thing about it is, man, I seen a most realistic meme was people said they'd rather live in Gotham than Metropolis because of that kaiju scene. You remember that there was a kaiju scene where a big kaiju was breathing fire,
Yes.
and like it makes sense because it's like on a Tuesday you're about to get ready for work, you wish your family goodbye, and all of a sudden you see a giant kaiju breathing fire, and it's like, bro, I'd rather live in Gotham than that because there are like simple muggings, maybe a few murders every once a month, and it's like, you get what I'm saying, man?
No, I get it. I get it.
But it's like, bro, I bet Batman would prefer Gotham over Metropolis. Like, if Superman said, let's switch cities, I guarantee you'd say, hell no, you're on your own.
Mm.
But no, I'm interested in it because, like you said, James Gunn's the one directing it. And if you look at all James Gunn's past works, there are not really anything that he's done that's bad.
True. True.
And it's like, what I love the choice they've made crypto to look like in the movie. It's not what I expected.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I'm like, I wasn't expecting them to use that breed of dog for crypto. I was expecting like maybe a golden retriever if they're not
Yeah,
gonna use the actual species that he is from the comics or whatever. I can't remember what he looks like in the comics.
yeah,
You know, a more beefier dog is what I was expecting. More
exactly.
an American dog, if that makes sense. Not
Yeah.
some little mangy mutt, but whatever.
Yeah, and it's like crypto, bring me home. I watched that scene so many times where it's like he's just slaying him around in the snow, man. And I'm like, there's no way. And then it's like I liked it after the second time watching the trailer. I was like, okay, I'm down for this crypto. It's like, but no, I
We'll
don't know.
see. I get overall like they're kind of going for a I don't want to say like a cartoony aesthetic, but like when you look at like the suit and like I remember watching like a breakdown of the trailer and it was brought up that James Gunn didn't want the red underwear on the outside and the
Yeah,
actor was like, "Oh no, we got to do it because it's so iconic." And then I like look at the suit and I'm like, I mean, yeah, it's the classic Superman suit, like
yeah,
1950s ish era Superman suit, but like he looks like the 1950 era Superman, where he wasn't all muscular and bulky, and you know, he was just like some average guy who just happened to be Superman. So I'm wondering, are they doing like, um, how can I say this? Do you
you afraid
remember
comic book?
Justice League War? No, not War. It was Justice League Frontier, I think, New Frontier or something, where it
Yeah,
took place in like the 1950s. I wonder if they're going to have like a 1950s kind of 2024 cartoony kind of aesthetic to it. And if they do that, that would be kind of interesting, especially if they use like Golden Age Superman versus Modern Age Superman.
yeah. It's like because I heard that this is around the time he just started becoming Superman from from what they call it articles, and apparently it's like Silver Age Superman and everything, and it's like not many people know about Superman. That's how the Justice League of Society, like Mr. Terrific and everyone, they get a whiff of them, and they hear that a Kryptonian's down here, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I'm interested in it, but all I know is what got me. Everyone knows about Superman a little bit, at least about his powers, how he's indestructible and everything. What got me was someone threw a can at Superman in the trailer. If you remember that, like when he's walking,
Yeah, I remember.
and it's like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'll be in that'd be the Injustice storyline origin for just for me, man. Honestly.
Okay.
It's like throwing through a can at you, and it's like people were telling me, they're like, bro, I don't know why Superman like act like it hurt him or nothing. It's like I don't think it hurt him. I just think he was really like, really? You threw a can at me? Okay, people say he flinched. And I'm like, he didn't flinch. He was more like curious, like, why'd you throw a can at me? But no, I'm looking forward to it because James Gunn's behind it, and he makes you love CGI animals. Like I don't know if you got that from everything he's done, you know.
Yeah, I picked up on that.
And it's like, I mean, I love the cameos they have in all this, and it's like that we got new, and I love its new characters we haven't seen before in live action.
I will give you that. Yes, new characters we have not seen before. Like, yeah, we've seen Green Lantern, but not this take of Green Lantern. We've got Mr. Terrific in the animated series and the DC animated movies, but never in a live action. And I'm actually just personally happy that they got Mr. Terrific. So that was kind of a good fit instead of like, seeing Cyborg again or the Flash, which I'm sure that's gonna come. Which is why I said if they're doing Justice Society of
Yeah.
America, that they're going back in time and telling the story from like a certain apex point, and then those other characters are going to come along as they become the Justice League of America or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, and like James Gunn's cinematic universe is slowly growing, and it's like I'm down for it. I'm looking forward to it, but and I'm looking forward to this version of Lex Luthor, by the way,
Yeah, me too.
because apparently this version is going to be like more sympathetic. It's like we won't entirely agree on his perspective, but we'll get where he's coming from, type deal, you know?
Right.
And it's like I'm interested in where they're going with that because it seems like he's almost jealous of Superman in the trailer from what people were saying in breakdowns. Like he's seen one kid in like a bad neighborhood or whatever, like put a pole down with Superman's, flag and logo on it.
Uh-huh.
And he's saying Superman. And it seems like Lex Luthor was kind of angry that Superman came to save him, like he wanted to be the one to save him, you know?
Yeah, I picked up on that.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, so there's a jealousy there, but I'm interested in seeing it because, and I know overall question I want to ask is, do you think Henry Cavill or this Superman will be better?
I would want to answer that after I see the new movie to kind of get a
Yeah.
portrayal. Because don't get me wrong, Henry Cavill looks and like he felt like Superman
Hmm.
in the movies, but also
Darker tone?
the darker tone is fine. It's just I didn't really like the direction that the DCEU was taking Superman. Like, look at Batch v Soup and how that all ended, and I'm like, Martha, really? That's the way y'all wanted to go? Oh, all right.
Martha, really?
And then even in Justice League, it was like if Superman really wanted to go ham, nobody could stop him. Even Batman, nobody could have stopped him.
Batman in real life would be like, what do you go? And everyone, all the Justice League members look at Batman, all right, Batman's like, what the hell you want me to do? What do you think I'm going to be doing here? It's like, I can't stop him.
Exactly. But I'm going to say this is going to be controversial. The
Uh-huh.
issue Henry Cavill Superman has isn't necessarily the actor's fault. I
Hmm.
blame that on the writing and the direction and the directors of the different
Yeah.
movies that kind of screwed all that up. Maybe if we got like a second like Man of Steel solo movie with him or something like that. No, because even Man of Steel, I was kind of like, I think it was a
Yeah.
darker tone. I think like
That's what I'm
Superman
trying to
doesn't
say,
work
man.
in a
I think it
darker
was a
tone.
darker tone for me. Like Henry Cavill was he's a good actor. Like so, everything he's in, I pretty much liked. But Man of Steel was, I mean, it didn't really feel like Superman. If that makes sense, like he was playing Superman, but it didn't feel like Superman Bob.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah, I don't think the darker tone fitted the Superman character. Like, yeah, for like a Batman or
Ben
something,
Affleck Batman, yeah.
which is weird because I wanted to see so much more Ben Affleck's Batman, and we will never get that.
I wish that too, man. It's like because, and I'll tell you this right now. That was my issue with the old DCU was Ben Affleck's Batman was going to have a movie of his own, and it was going to have Deathstroke in it, and it was
That
going to
would have
have
been cool.
Deathstroke in it, and it were I'm going to try to pronounce the name right, Joe Magnolia. You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
okay. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're
Yeah,
talking
well,
about.
he apparently in the Snyder cut learned about Ben Affleck's Batman's identity, and he was going to go after Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like, man, I would have liked to see that because there was some beef and drama behind it where Lex Luthor teamed up with Deathstroke and Deathstroke went after Batman. But like you said, we won't get Ben Affleck's Batman, and yeah, it's sad, but I'm looking forward to James Gunn's direction in the DCU. I'm more curious than anything, but
Yeah, no, I agree to that. I'm definitely more curious to see how James Gunn will do his cinematic take. Especially with this being a reboot and just everything that Warner Brothers has gone through with these IPs and how they've just been trying to compete with the MCU. Maybe now that the MCU is in this crossroads and trying to recover from their own mistakes, maybe the DCU
gotcha.
can come in and become the new cinematic universe and putting out banger after banger after banger, like how the MCU did in the first three phases.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, James Gunn's Suicide Squad, his DC movie was badass. It's like straight up.
It's sad that those were the more successful DC/DCEU movies to
Yeah.
come out, were the Suicide Squad movies.
And the thing about it is, man, and James Gunn confirmed this, everything that we see is connected, like from video games that he makes from going forth, and like the animated show, the Creature Commandos, to this. Like everything's connected in one way or another. He confirmed that.
Right.
And it's like, I like that because the MCU, if you really think about it, not all the Marvel game, comics, they're not all connected like that.
No.
So it's like, they're like, they say a multiverse, which, but yeah, James Gunn confirmed all his are all in the same thing. So I'm looking forward to that. And but yeah, me and Mark, we're looking forward to, we're curious on how Superman's gonna play out, and I'm sure review it as it comes out. But as far as we know, we're intrigued.
Right.
And yeah. Also, before we move on, do you remember that robot in the trailer? Like the one that Superman was like holding it was like looked like it was Don.
No. Fuck, what is the name of that?
It is. Let me see. I had to write his name down. His was. He was about a grieving Superman cradling a blue robot. It was Helix or Kelix.
Okay.
He is a relic of Krypton, and he's the primary caretaker of Superman's Fortress of Solitude. He's been there since the beginning.
Okay.
And apparently something probably went down, like something went and infiltrated the fortress or something, making it where the robot went down. And like I said, this thing been caretaker for the Fortress of Solitude. I'm pretty sure Superman 2, since he was like crashed on Earth. So it's like, I'm sure it's like heartbreaking. So yeah. So I'm interested in that. But anyways, Black Panther 3. And also, what's awesome is Denzel Washington, the legend of black actors, is going to be in it.
As he should. He should have been in it.
Yes, and it's like, I mean, in my opinion, it's like it's about damn time. That's how I look at it. And it's like, yeah, Denzel Washington accidentally leaked Black Panther 3 being made. And then after he did that, Kevin Feige said, okay, since the cat's out of the bag and the rumors are already stirring, yeah, he confirmed it. And it's like, yeah. And there's a rumor right now saying that Denzel Washington will be, I think his name is Dave Monroe. In the comics, he's Storm's father from the X-Men. And apparently the plot is Denzel's character will look for a cure for Storm mutation worldwide and will lead him to Wakanda. So, and apparently, you watched Black Panther 2, obviously, right, Mark?
Yeah.
So you know the end credit scene about T'Challa's spoiler son?
Yep.
So apparently they're both going to be like Storm and T'Challa's son's going to be like teenagers, and they're going to be like close and everything. So I always thought it would be T'Challa in like future MCU movies that was going to see Storm and marry her, but it seemed like it's gonna be T'Challa's son. So,
Well, a little bit about that. So again, earlier I mentioned the MCU is kind of in a crossroads because since Phase 4,
mhm.
shit has gone south. I don't know if I can cuss on your podcast,
You
but
can't.
shit has gone south for the MCU as a whole. With all their issues, you had the death of Chadwick Boseman, who obviously was one of the major stars in their cinematic universe, and having to go into Black Panther 2
Mhm.
and continue that character storyline after Endgame. Him dying was a huge blow to that. Every issue they had with Disney Plus, and just like the Jonathan Majors issue. Now they're bringing back um, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, and just changing up. They had to switch from the Kang Dynasty to now pivot to Doom and the
Mhm.
Fox merger. The MCU has a lot of stuff going on. Um, as fans, of course, we wanted to see who would play opposite of Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther
Yeah.
via Storm, because that's one of the main storylines with that character that you have to, left to do, especially now that, after the Fox merger, you have the rights to use Storm and the mutants and can say mutant and all this and that. So that was one of the bigger storylines we were looking forward to
Yeah.
going into this new Fox merger era of the MCU. And sadly, with the passing of Chadwick Boseman back in 2020, we won't have that. So you have to pivot. And so I do understand why they're doing it this way, with Storm being a teenager and Black Panther being a teenager. Questions like, Black Panther 2 wasn't that long ago. How did you age up a kid to a teenager in like this amount of time? That's going to be one question I have, unless Black Panther 3 takes place in the future of the
That's what I
MCU, which
figured. I figured that's what the case would be. Like, because okay, I'll take this too. It's like the blip would have made sense, like 5 years later and everything. But if they did something with that, I don't know. But I figure with a time skip, because I don't know, because sometimes they do that. But
well, it's funny you mentioned the blip. The biggest unanswered question from any game that they have really done nothing with, that they could have the opportunity to do a lot of cool, interesting stuff with.
yeah,
Um,
it's
like I think it was on my channel. For anyone who's watching, go check it out, blerdography. But I'm one of my podcasts. I did mention like the Disney Plus shows and counts the issues that they had and like the stuff that they could actually do with the Disney Plus like TV series. Like they should have had a Disney Plus series specifically about the blip, where we just follow regular people who are living their lives before, during, and after the blip. Like, come on, like all these people disappeared for 5 years. Then they magically come back to where they are. So many unanswered questions. What happened to the people that were on ships and in airplanes and in space and giving birth? Like, what happened to all those people? Like, did babies get blipped out of the universe? Did they come back and just were still babies? And then going back to what you said, using the blip to kind of age up T'Challa, son of T'Challa. How would they do that? How would the blip age him up? Like, did like all of Black Panther 2 take place during the blip or something? I don't know. These are weird questions.
yeah, but it could have been answered like you said, and it could have made for a cooler storyline too. Like the unique way of telling things, it could have been used for a lot of things, like the formula for it.
Right.
And it's like I like that we got T'Challa's son, maybe like in like a legacy type, in Black Panther 2 was like a legacy type deal. So it's like T'Challa's son, it only made sense. So we wouldn't want to see, like, yeah, sure he being a Black Panther was cool and everything. But like we said, we wanted to see
Nobody
T'Challa.
wanted to see her be Black Panther. Nobody wanted to see her become Black Panther.
I mean, it was in the comics, yeah, it was cool for a moment, but we wanted like they recasted what they call it? They recasted Thunderbolt Ross in the MCU. So why couldn't they do that with T'Challa? Because Black Panther is a big part of Black nerds. Yeah, it's like history and legacy. It's like Black Panther is one of the pivotal characters in it.
About that, about what you just said. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I know I'm not the only one, but I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mhm.
I don't think anybody black cared about Black Panther in that sense until we saw Avengers, like the first Avengers, and then the concept of seeing a live action Black Panther, because nobody cared about the Avengers until the first Iron Man movie, and then we saw where it was leading up to. The Avengers was Marvel's, the comics, like B characters. Like Iron Man was a B C tier character until the
Yeah.
MCU. Captain America was a B character that just had a lot of historical value with Marvel. The Hulk like sold books, but like he wasn't like that. Same thing with Thor. It was Spider-Man and the X-Men and Fantastic Four that was carrying the comics for the longest time.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, they introduced Black Panther. By the way, Black Panther is created by a white guy. That blew my mind when I found that out at Dragon Con last year when he showed up at the end of the Black Panther Wakanda shoot. Which the video of that is on my channel. You should go check it out. Blew my mind. I was like, we're sitting there waiting, and I should have Googled it, like, who's the creator of Black Panther? But we waited for like a whole hour after the shoot just for the guy to show up, and it's some white dude, and we're like, mind blown. Nobody bothered to Google this beforehand. Like, because we're all sitting there waiting. It's like 50 people, and the only person knew who he was the guy that was walking him here, who was trying to get him to the shoot. And everybody's just like befuddled when we're taking the final pictures. Like
who's this guy?
right. So find that funny. But again, going back to my point, I don't think people cared, or at least black people, like especially in the blur community, really cared about Black Panther until the MCU brought us the Avengers and the concept that we can get this character. And that's when, I don't want to say we joined the bandwagon, but when we really started to care a lot more about Black Panther and the original black characters that Marvel created and trying to bring them up to the limelight.
I feel like Luke Cage, though, the Blurs really liked back in the day. Like, I really feel like that was one of the bigger ones in Blade.
Yeah, Blade. And then switching franchises. Static Shock was a big character, Cyborg, but I don't remember like in high school and middle school, a lot of kids like I want to be Black Panther. I know that now because of the popularity of the Black Panther movies and MCU. But for me growing up, I don't remember a lot of us saying Black Panther anything.
Yeah, when the movie came out, though, like when we first seen the first thing of them, that's when it popped off. It's like, bro, I want to be Black Panther. Like in high school, man, everyone wanted my senior year. Everyone loved Black Panther the moment they seen him and the way he represented himself. So they're like, Wakanda forever. You kept seeing that so much, man. Like,
right.
And it's like, bro, it's to the point that it's like everywhere you see a black nerd would just do the Wakanda forever, like, signs. And it's like, that's pretty cool how it impacted most of the blurs when he was introduced, like on screen anyways.
Well, and I get that, like, again, like that movie had a lot of impact on the culture. And again, I'm not saying that's when we became bandwagon fans of Black Panther, but
more known and out there.
Not only more known, because again, I've always known of Black Panther. He's been voiced by like Phil Lamar and a bunch of other characters in like the Marvel animated shows and things like that. But he's always been just a secondary side character, unless you are watching a specific Black Panther animated series or something like that, or reading his comics. Whenever he teams up with the Avengers or other Marvel characters, he's always some kind of side character, at least until the 2018 movie. And again, I was a full-grown adult going out of college by that point. Mm-hmm. So like seeing the blurred community explode over Black Panther, and not only the blurred community, but just the Black community in general.
Oh yeah.
Like I've seen the deacons board and the church ladies with their hats and stuff watching Black Panther, just because culturally to us as African Americans, we hadn't gotten a movie like that, a movie where 90% of the cast is black, 90% of the crew is black, the director Ryan Coogler is black, big budget Disney money, studio
Big
budgets.
Disney money.
I mean, but it's the truth. Like, what prior to Black Panther,
Mhm.
what movie had predominantly black crew and staff in front of and behind the camera that had a budget that came close to what Black Panther had for their movie?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's like, but man, like it's good overall, and it made you love the way Chadwick Boseman represented himself, and that's why I think there was so much pressure on Marvel for Black Panther 2 to pop off, and then they were deciding, let's just make it a legacy film, you know?
Well, they kind of had no choice, and again, going back to another point you said earlier, like them recasting T'Challa, or Chadwick Boseman. Remember, at the time, the overall public sentiment was no, do not recast this character, just in the character storyline or whatever. That's what the fans were talking about. I even mentioned myself, like, hey, he's too iconic of a character, and he meant too much to us, especially like for black men. I had a conversation again, another podcast. Sorry for keep plugging my channel, but I have a podcast about it. We're talking about Black Panther 2 and the death of Chadwick Boseman and just what he represented, because not only Chadwick Boseman was great as T'Challa, he was a great actor. If you've seen him in 42, if you've seen him in what was the Netflix movie that came out after he died? Ma Rainey. If you've seen him in any other movie, Chadwick Boseman is a phenomenal actor.
He
And
was.
seeing him be Wakanda forever and vibranium claws and in the CGI cat suit was fucking awesome. Like a lot of my black male friends were like, he was like the black great hope, essentially, like what we inspired to become. And when he died, that legacy, everything that he brought with him kind of died for a moment. And nobody wanted to see him be replaced in the MCU. Fast forward 4 years later, Black Panther 2 came out. Yeah, sure, he was Black Panther in the comics. Nobody wanted to see that in live action. I'm just saying, when she was like Wakanda forever, it was just like a kitten.
It didn't have the same feeling, man. It didn't have the same feeling as Chadwick Boseman. It's like, bro, calm down. But I see she was trying, but at the same time, it's like I'm looking forward to T'Challa's son being the new Black Panther eventually, you know?
Yeah, but like, given everything I said about Chadwick Boseman, what teenage actor that can hold up to that legacy?
Not as a teenager, though. I'm saying eventually, like years down the road, you know?
But who? Like, they're making Black Panther 3 now, so it got to be somebody now. It's probably some young British kid we don't know about. What they should have did, and this is all in hindsight, this is all retrospective, but there's something I mentioned back then. What they should have did, since we're in this multiverse saga now anyway, they should have just recasted Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan as T'Challa, and did some multiverse thing where in this universe
like a variant.
Right, and bring back Killmonger, but from an alternate universe or ultimate multiverse where he's T'Challa and not Killmonger, or even where he is Killmonger, but he became the Black Panther and is a good character. Because if you notice in the MCU, even in What If, Killmonger's always the villain. Even when he's being portrayed as the hero, ultimately he's the villain.
Yeah, his motives are, I mean, we see, and that's the messed up part, man. Like, we see where he's coming from, but we know it's wrong, in a way. And that's the messed up part we relate in a way. Like, we understand his perspective, but it's wrong. It's like a Magneto and Professor X thing,
Right.
But no, it's like, I agree completely with Michael B. Jordan being like a T'Challa variant or Killmonger
right.
from one universe to that. That would have been awesome, and that would have made a lot of sense. But I mean, I like how they still had T'Challa's son and they hit him and everything, and I still think that's interesting.
I don't think it's that interesting because it just seems like a one-off, like some writer in the writer's room at Disney, just like, oh, and T'Challa has a son,
And
and
T'Challa
we're
has a
gonna
son,
keep
just
him
a little.
hidden secret. And it just seemed like some one-off line that they written just to save themselves for when they eventually do go down the Black Panther 3 road or try to bring up Black Panther in the future if they do Young Avengers or whatever they decide to do with that, since they have all they wasted Disney Plus by introducing the Young Avenger characters, I feel like. But
Yeah,
I mean, it just feel like it was a one-off line that
like
they
they just out of
got
nowhere
into the
said,
film
"Hey,
and shot.
T'Challa had a son." It's like, yeah, but I mean, Denzel Washington, that's gonna be awesome to see in Black Panther 3.
It is.
And it's like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think it's gonna be good. Like I said, Shuri, she really didn't have the same impact, and I think Marvel knew she wouldn't as Chadwick Boseman did.
Right.
And it's like, and I don't think they were trying to make it where Shuri was gonna replace Chadwick Boseman. Because if you would have told everyone, hey, Shuri's gonna take over and replace Chadwick Boseman, a lot of them fans would probably laugh.
No, they were revolted, and you would have saw a lot of misogyny come out of the nerd community, especially the blurred community, about
Yeah.
Shuri permanently being the new Black Panther.
And it's like uprising, but no, and I want to see if they're gonna add into Black Panther 3. I want to see if they're gonna add Atlanteans at all, or even mention them from the Black Panther 2, like Namor and everything.
They probably, I would imagine they would be mentioned. I don't know if they'll be featured, but definitely mentioned because the Latino community and Latin blurs love Namor.
Yeah,
They
and
love
it's like,
Namor.
yeah, it was, and he was one of the first mutants other than Miss Marvel in the MCU. So it's like, and if they add Storm in there, I mean, they could, say, hey, Namor is a mutation too, or something like that.
Right.
But no, I think it'll be interesting. Like I'm gonna obviously still watch it, but it'll be good. It might be good. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But
Well, yeah, we have to wait and see. I do want to know. So, if you're gonna have Denzel in your movie about Black Panther 3, how much screen time is he gonna have? Because Denzel is not some person you bring on and he's just a side character.
he probably and Marvel probably knows that, and he probably said that in the meetings, man, and pitches. It's like, hey, I play major roles, so it's like, and Marvel probably known that when they got him on there, so it's like, and if they did get him in like a small role, they had to pay him a lot of money just to be a side character.
No, like I mean, yeah, and again, Disney got money. I'm not worried about their pocketbook. I'm
Yeah,
worried about the Angela Bassett effect. And let me explain this. So, Angela Bassett gave a damn near should have been an Oscar worthy performance in Black Panther 2.
yeah,
And even in the course of Black Panther and Black Panther 2, both movies, she had a significant role. She had enough screen time to be a supporting character.
yeah,
But she herself, Angela Bassett, her acting prowess demands that she's more than just a supporting character. And in the case of Black Panther and Black Panther 2, given the circumstances, especially with Black Panther 2, it felt like she had more of a presence than just being a best supporting actress. But I don't want to see Denzel in that same situation where he's giving an Oscar-worthy performance. Granted, we know superhero movies don't win Oscars unless it's for like CGI or costuming or hair or makeup or something like that. But like, I don't want to see a wasted performance out of Denzel Washington in a too small of a role for someone of his acting prowess.
yes, that completely makes sense. It's like he is one of the legends of acting, man. Like, and I honestly believe that. It's like, so that would be wasted potential, and that's how I look at it. If they did that.
Right.
It's
And
like,
the fact that he's going to be Storm's father, who I don't know a lot about outside of like, a little bit from the comics and stuff.
Yeah.
And her father is not a good guy from what I remember.
Yeah.
Didn't her father like sell her into slavery in Cairo or something, or was the reason why she was
Yeah,
homeless?
something like that. Because I remember he wasn't a good guy, and even in the animated series, Storm don't like talking about her past. Like,
Right.
so
So is Denzel the villain in that case? Like, that's the
I
only other
think
way I
that's
can
how
see that.
they're aiming for it. If it's like we remember correctly. So, and I mean, I could see Denzel being a bad guy. We've seen him as bad guys in performances before.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I brought it up. Like, what role is he gonna have? Like, he can't be like an Angela Bassett. He gotta be something bigger. He has to be the villain of the story, which
Yeah.
brings up so many other issues. If he's the villain of the story, then they should not cast Denzel because MCU does not care for their villains and they just let good
They
villains
kill him off
die.
one movie. They kill him off one movie and they be done with them.
Right. I'm like, but we could have had so much. Like, Helena was a good villain. Loki
Yeah.
should have stayed a villain, even though his whole anti-hero, then her hero arc was really good.
Yeah.
Um, Killmonger should have stayed a villain. Taskmaster should have spoke and talked shit and then stayed, even though I know they're bringing back Taskmaster.
Yeah.
That's a rant for another time.
That was like a past reference.
But like so many good villains, the God Butcher was a good villain that I wanted to see more of. Nope, no more God Butcher. All right.
It's like here, bro. It's like no, and I understand that the MCU does do that good of killing off their villains one movie, and it's bad for us who think we can see him these characters in other roles, and it would make sense, like in other stories.
Right.
And it's like that made me mad. I try to look past it, man, but when you brought that up, it's like, bro, we could have had okay, but here's the thing. I like how they brought back Killmonger in Black Panther 2. Like, even if he was in like an astral plane type deal, like in how Shuri kept seeing Killmonger.
Right.
So I like how they brought back Michael B. Jordan for that movie, even if it's for a little bit. But overall, MCU does kill off their villains way too fast. And that's what scares me, man. Only because in the mutant saga, Magneto.
I mean, not only Magneto, but like you bringing back your darling in Robert Downey Jr. and making him Doom, who Doom by himself has staying power with just the amount of storylines you have to tell with him being involved with the Fantastic Four, who you're also bringing with him being involved with the Avengers or being a protagonist for the antagonist for the Avengers.
Yeah.
It's so many things that like they can do. So like you are like I know they're not bringing back RDJ for like just Avengers Doom or whatever they're gonna call it, and then that's it. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, I get that. It was an interesting choice that overall, Marvel picking Robert Downey Jr. to be Doom, because it's like I don't know what they were seeing, but it's like it's interesting to think about what they were thinking in their minds when they picked.
All right, we can jump down that rabbit hole. I can tell you exactly what they're thinking.
What?
They're sitting here thinking this Jonathan Majors shit. We fired him prematurely before we got an acquittal or a conviction. And now we've already had these movies. We had Loki season 2 and Loki season 1 and Ant-Man Quantumania, fucking garbage. Like that made no sense. We already invested all this time in Jonathan Majors. We have these properties. We already spent money that's already aired. And now we don't have Jonathan Majors because we fucking fired him. We had Kang Dynasty and the Kang Wars, and we're setting up this whole multiverse shit. And now we don't have the big bad. We need a new big bag. And on top of that, even before they even fired Jonathan Majors, like the MCU was fucking sinking and having issues with their own continuity after Endgame and trying to make everything fit. They just got the X-Men stuff, they got the Spider-Man stuff, Sony issues, Universal issues still, the Disney Plus stuff, which kind of hit and miss it, depending on how you want to take it. And that could have used a year of refinement, to be honest, all the Disney Plus stuff, but I get it. Pandemic, Russian, just put it out and see what happens.
Yeah.
They were thinking we need to bring back the moneymakers, meaning they need to make the MCU white again.
Yeah, it's
I hate to say it like that, but like, once they started introducing women and other people of color and all these other characters, the large bulk of the fan base was like, I don't like this. It's too colorful. There's too many women, all
colorful.
these female characters, like why is this character white? I mean, not white or whatever. It was a lot of that shit. And they was like, fuck it. We're just gonna go get our great white hopes, being Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., bring them back. There you go. Like, come on, like we're getting
That thing about
Captain America 4 with a black Captain America on the heels of you already announcing that you're bringing back Chris Evans as Captain America.
Hmm?
What fucking sense does that make?
Yeah, but the thing about it is, man, when you brought that up, Robert A. Jr., he already confirmed years ago, like on it, like in Endgame, he said he didn't want to come. He like when he ended Iron Man's death, that was his way of getting out the MCU. And when they brought him back, he even confirmed he's like, I'm not playing Iron Man forever. This is me being out and exploring new things. And then they said Doctor Doom, so it's like, you know.
Now, don't get me wrong. I know I just shitted on him being casted as Doctor Doom. I am excited for it. Don't get me wrong, because I'm like, who else could they have gotten to be Doctor Doom other than fucking Iron Man? It makes so much perfect sense to just do that. Especially since they're doing this whole multiverse thing anyway, they can get away with that in this universe.
A variant or something like that.
Right. So I'm wondering, is this Victor Von Doom or is this Tony Stark as Doom?
Well, there's also theory saying that someone like, what's it called? Like someone possessed Tony Stark, a variant of Tony Stark, but it's actually Victor Von Doom that possessed him, And it's like, because he's also a sorcerer,
Yeah, I know, but we just have to wait for the MCU to make it make sense and release all this stuff, and we can just nerd out about it and then theorize about it. Like, it's hurting my head sitting here trying to think about all this stuff, all the shit that they're doing before shit comes out.
Yeah, but and anyways, either way, I'm looking forward to it. Black Panther 3, to say the least, because I mean the second one wasn't bad, but it won't top Black Panther 1, obviously. But
no.
But I feel like, Mark, are you excited for Black Panther 3?
I am excited for it. I hope they learned their lessons from Black Panther 2. Nobody signed up for 2 funerals in one movie. Like I went into Black Panther 2 knowing that we was going to get in memoriam to Chadwick Boseman. I was fine with that. It made me cry. Wasn't expecting an Angela Bassett funeral scene. That just devastated me. But yeah, I'm excited for Black Panther 3. I guess Denzel Washington is going to be the villain, and the kids are going to be the heroes.
I'm down for the ride,
I'm down for the ride. Let's just see where it goes. Let's just see where it goes. That's all I can say.
And also, if everything's true, I'm excited to see Storm finally make her introduction in the MCU finally.
Right.
And that's going to be cool. And speaking of X-Men, we are talking about the Jean Grey casting rumor runner-up, and it's Sadie Sink from Stranger Things, who played Max Mayfield.
Wait, you said she's the runner-up, or are they actually casting her?
Well, she's the one that all Marvel, and if you look at all the articles, Marvel wants Sadie Sink out of everyone that's been, trying to be Jean Grey. They want her.
Okay. Because I definitely knew they wasn't bringing back Sansa to play Jean Grey at all. That was a wrap.
Yeah, Sophie Turner, not many people. Like, she was all right. She was cool. But it's like, I guess Marvel didn't think she had to feel like they're not bringing back every Fox person that was in the Fox universe X-Men into the MCU. So it's like they were going to have to recast some of them.
Yeah, no, that's someone. If they bring back anyone to play Jean Grey, bring back the original actress from the original '99 X-Men movie. that whole thing. But then that's a whole other thing too. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, if you had to pick the one Sophie Turner, or if you had to pick the 1999 X-Men actress, who would you pick?
99 actress. Just for the simple fact that Dark Phoenix wasn't good.
Yeah.
And it is not. I mean, it's not Sophie Turner's fault. Like, I don't understand why when you critique movies and stuff and you talk about actresses' performances and stuff, and like, it's not their fault. They're just doing what the writers told them to do. No, I mean, they're actors. They act. That's the job. Like, you was not Jean Grey. I did not feel like she was Jean Grey.
Like, look, okay, if someone said act like this, it's like they're the ones telling the story really through their actions of acting, you know?
Right.
So it's like, yeah. But I think that you watch Stranger Things, haven't you?
Wait, say that again?
You've watched Stranger Things, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen Stranger Things.
So you think that she'd be a good Jean Grey, right? Or
I mean, I need to see her like do more of this instead of like actually acting. But yeah, like, you know, once I see her do some of this, then we'll see.
Yeah, it's like, and people were worried, which they didn't have to go this route. People were saying, "Oh, I don't know about her because ain't Wolverine in love with her and everything." And I'm like, you don't have to have a love interest with Wolverine in the MCU, you know, with her there, you know, like she can grow eventually over time, you know, and then be someone else. And it's like,
right, and it seems like they're using Wolverine as more of a legacy character with Deadpool versus him actually being in the X-Men movies that they're going to bring out. So, like, yeah.
And I was like really thinking, I'm like, man, Hugh Jackman coming back with like for a legacy thing, and that's what I was about to bring up because they already Kevin Feige already confirmed that they're gonna recast Hugh Jackman eventually, you know,
right?
So it's like, you know, that's how it's gonna be, and plus, yeah, I think I'm looking forward to the MCU's X-Men. What do you think they should do to make it a good X-Men movie?
That's a tough question. Like, first of all, who are they getting? Like, what characters are they going to even be putting in the movie?
I mean, that's the thing, man. Like, it's different rosters of teams over time, so it's like it could be anyone really.
So if they're going a younger Jean Grey,
yeah,
obviously they're gonna redo the Phoenix saga over again, and I don't want to see another third cinematic version of the Phoenix saga being told in one
I'd rather
movie.
not, but they'll be years ahead probably because they know their mistakes because they always push on Jean Grey storylines. Every X-Men like trilogy, hey, we need to make Jean Grey do this. We can do it better than the last time. And it's like,
you know, but they fucked it up. Like the closest we got was Sophie Turner at the end of Age of Apocalypse, and then when we got Dark Phoenix, I was like, no, this was a mistake. Go back and not do this.
Yeah, it's like go back. I take back what I said, but no.
And then the fact that Dark Phoenix and fucking Miss Marvel like nearly ended the same. Fucking in space battles and shit. I'm like,
yeah, I see where you're coming from there. I was like, first I was like, what? And then you said space battles. I'm like, yep.
But and I'm just like, we have never gotten a good reinvention of the Dark Phoenix storyline outside of the X-Men 92 series.
I think exactly, man. It's like, and that's because some things are only good animated, in my opinion.
Yeah. I actually agree. Like, there's no way you can make that a really good, compelling live action story in one movie, and not in one movie, and not with at least $100 million budget.
And the thing about it is, man, that like when they did it in Apocalypse, like that's how I wish they would do it for a while. It's like they hint that Jean Grey has a certain power in her, and it amplifies her power a little bit, but don't make it engulf her. You know, like flames and everything.
Right.
Like make it where it's like a power boost for her, and it hints there's something inside of her, and leave it at that for a while, make it a mystery, and which we all know it's a Phoenix Force, but you know what I'm saying.
Right, because the Phoenix Force itself needs to be a three movie trilogy or a 3-season TV show just to even tell the story right. And then like There's so much shit. All right, so they're casting Jean Grey. They're casting Maxie as Jean Grey.
Yeah.
If they're going the young route, they're obviously doing a young team of X-Men. So we're going to get a young Scott Summers. We're going to get possibly a young Rogue, or possibly
Iceman.
right. And then Professor. Ooh, who would they get be Professor X? McAvoy or Picard?
I think McAvoy. I think would probably be good because he already. I mean, I never had a problem with him being Professor X.
Well, my problem is, like, how did you in the 80s go from looking like McAvoy to in the 90s looking like Patrick Stewart in 10 years? That's my only issue.
That is a fair point. Actually. But I'm more worried about, not worried, but I want to know who'd play Magneto. Like, because I also heard they're going to make a Brotherhood of Mutants movie.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I like a good villain story.
And it's like, bro, they're not villains in their, point of view. Like,
I mean, I know, but like technically they're villains.
Yeah, exactly. But and the cool thing about it is, I heard that they pitched it to Marvel it's going to be like Magneto's perspective. Like Magneto's going to try to be doing his own thing, working with Professor X for a little bit, and something bad goes down, so he forms his own like X-Men, but he called them the Brotherhood.
Okay.
And it's like, bro, I like you said, a good villain movie, but at the same time, it's like through their point of view.
I mean, and Magneto is a character that has a really good POV that makes you really question the boundaries between good and evil and what's right and what's wrong.
And what's in gray,
Right.
And that,
again, don't make me disappoint you. Oh my God, Magneto in '97 was.
He's like, don't make me let you down while he's hovering everyone. That's what got me the most. One of the things is, man, because I loved him as the leader in X-Men 97.
Yeah,
I really did, because he took action. Like, he didn't go the peaceful route. When Cyclops seen him, he's like, did you hurt those humans? I did not kill them, but they were harmed. Like, he was brutally honest. He's like, I did not kill them. Like, if that's what you're worried about, but they were harmed. And he's like, enemies are safe, so a plus.
Right.
I love that, man. And he's like, no, that got me. And the fact that he said, my favorite line was, oh, friend, this is something I always want to say. Shut up. And he put a metal thing over his mouth, over Professor Xavier's. But no, Magneto is one of those things, like, he is basically a god in Marvel. Like, he is an Omega level mutant. He knows he's god material, but at the same time, he's like, he has so much hatred. That's how I look at it. But you've seen his history, so you know how he got raised up. So it's like,
right, like he's just working through his fucking trauma of losing his family as a child during the Holocaust. That's all.
And it's like, and adding extra layers of depth was, he's a mutant with it. So it's like, all he is really hate for humans, but he wants to be accepted. Don't get me wrong. But, and I thought Michael Fassbender was a great Magneto.
Oh, yeah. And I was going to bring that up. All right. So I have 2 points to make about that. Either bring back Michael Fassbender as Magneto, because that whole segment where he was off in Germany living his life in the Age of Apocalypse.
I like that part. I really did.
Yeah, I love that part. He was just a family man. He had his kids. They came and just fucked with him and killed his family. He took that coin and fucked them up. And I was like,
said, he poked the bear. Damn it, the bear pokes back.
Right. And I was like, Michael Fassbender needs his own Magneto movie. So I would love to see them bring back Michael Fassbender as Magneto. Not McAvoy, maybe not so much, but definitely Michael Fassbender.
Exactly,
another point
and
I was going to bring up. So there were rumors that they might do Professor X and Magneto the way of Dr. King and Malcolm X, if that makes sense, and like make them black. Would you be down to see a black Magneto and a black Professor X in the MCU?
I was gonna say, if you were gonna bring that up, I was gonna say like if they would have brought Denzel Washington before the Black Panther 3 announcement, I would have loved to see him as Magneto.
Thank you. Because that's where I forgot to say that, but that's where I was getting at with that whole Denzel Washington rant. I would love to see him play Magneto.
I mean, that would have been awesome. Like, and say for instance, they might be able to do it. Like, say for instance, but they did cast like that in MCU. They've done 2 different portrayals of things. You know, like
Right.
Josh Brolin did Thanos, and then he did Cable, and
Right.
and they did.
Well,
Other
I
things
mean,
like
that was Fox, though, so technically not in the same universe, but technically
yeah, but
it is now.
they also done different things in Marvel, like in MCU. Like I forgot the actresses and actors, but they've done that before and made them look completely different. You know.
I mean, okay, I'll give you an example. So they replaced Terrence Howard's Rhodey with Don Cheadle, and
Yeah.
they didn't mention shit about him looking different other than he looks different. You're not some light-skinned dude who got big off of hustle and flow. You're Don Cheadle. So I mean, and then you brought up Thunderbolt Ross, but that was because the other actor died.
Yeah.
And they don't even mention like the Hulk movies and all that stuff. The Hulk is just in the MCU, and
We
nobody
still
says
got
anything about.
Betty Brand, I think her name was, from the Hulk movies. We still haven't seen her.
Right. So I get it. It's a lot of things they could do. Like, okay, so what if this is just a what if? In Black Panther 3,
Yeah.
Denzel Washington is Storm's father because he is, but he's also Magneto. He's Magneto in Black Panther 3.
Oh, yep. I would be so for that. And it's like that might be either her biological father or adopted, you know?
Right.
Okay, I get that, yeah. And I also wanted to say, like Elizabeth Olsen, she wanted to explore, and I know Scarlet Witch ain't gonna be done for, obviously. She's a major part of MCU, but she said she wanted to go the route with Magneto being her father.
Well, yeah. Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't care for this whole thing that they set up where the Scarlet Witch is this fucking Phoenix Force entity in the universe.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it'd be cool to see Magneto be, explore
No,
that.
I agree. I do want to see Magneto and Scarlet Witch, and then somehow they bring back Pietro into all this, just be the father instead of how they're kind of telling it. It doesn't.
With the
I don't
Infinity
care
Stones.
for it.
Yeah, with the Infinity Stones. And
Right. I don't care for it. No, give me back that's my daddy.
That's my daddy. But no, man, it's like Magneto. I'm gonna go back to that. It's like he is a force to be reckoned with. Like if you really think about it, he can solo all the Avengers, really.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, I've seen a video where
Except
like,
Hulk. I don't see how Magneto and the
Hulk
Hulk
would
would
be
fight.
hard because if you really think about it, I've seen a video where Magneto was fighting all the Avengers, and it was like in the comics and in comparison to now. And it's like, bro, there's no way he could solo the Avengers. And then I've seen Thor's hammer. He can control all metal. And Thor's hammer, metal. Captain America's shield. And
yeah, he would literally have to use those plus some Tony Stark armor to do that. Which in that sense, now that I think about it, but I'm like Magneto versus Hulk just by themselves.
Yeah. And it's like, bro, that's the only trouble that one of them could actually possess, because I know Black Widow and Hawkeye ain't doing shit.
No.
It's like, no, I'm pretty sure you just laugh. And it's like, no, man, Magneto, he's like one of the only villains like that I really enjoy and think Marvel really fleshed out their story over time, and it never gets old, you know?
True. Okay, so I thought of an answer for your question that brought us down this whole path we're on.
What?
How would I want them to do the X-Men movies in the MCU? All right, just follow me along.
Okay.
All right, forget all of that Denzel Washington's Magneto, because they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
I want them to do that, but they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
They're going to cast some white dude. Let's say it's Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
Magneto needs to get his own movie by himself that leads into the Brotherhood of Mutants like movie or whatever they do with that.
Mhm.
Gambit needs his own movie, and it seems like he's going to get his own movie, especially after his overall praise in Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Which means you're going to have an adult Rogue, so you won't have a teenage Rogue, you have an adult Rogue.
Yeah.
Since you're casting Jean Grey young, that means Scott is going to be young. We already have Black Panther who's going to be young. Storm who's going to be young. You can bring in a Nightcrawler who's going to be young, and a couple other. Jubilee. Jubilee's always young in the X-Men. Fires. Whatever. You could just make a young X-Men team because you want that to be the face of your franchise moving forward of the MCU. You want the young X-Men to be the face, so we grow up with them and we're getting like Avenger level movies of their movies.
Okay.
And then what else they could do? Do not, for the love of God, do the Phoenix storyline. Do not do the Dark Phoenix storyline.
No, we don't have to do that at all. I mean, Apocalypse. I would like them to redo Apocalypse.
Yeah, but save that for last.
Yeah.
Save that for last because it's still too soon since Fox did it, and time needs to go by.
Mr. Sinister.
Yes, they could do the Mr. Sinister stuff. They could do Rachel Summers. They could do Nate Gray and Cable. They could do all that stuff. They could do the Days of Future Past stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's a really great storyline. Do a lot of the Chris Claremont storylines from the comics. I think that'll be good with like a Young Avengers team. Like especially like the Coca-Cola thing where the old team or the new team had to go rescue the old team. That would be a really good thing to see. Because eventually that does lead into the Dark Phoenix saga. What else?
All right, there Days of Future Past. We got.
They would need to answer the Wolverine question because you have Hugh Jackman being a legacy Wolverine as the Nexus being 99 years, whatever, but still cast another Wolverine to be with the new X-Men because you're going to need a Wolverine to be there. You're not going to always have Hugh Jackman to do that because he costs too much money.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I do like the idea of just having Deadpool and Wolverine instead of having movies together. They're just popping up in other people's movies at this point. Like they don't need any other
Morning Rose, basically.
Right.
Yeah. I would like to see Morph in X-Men.
Yes, I would like to see Morph in X-Men. Oh, they can finally explore the Wolverine Morph fucking romance.
No, we don't need to do all that, but also, I mean, I would like to see Mystique in it, but not like Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique.
Oh, definitely not that Mystique. No, that was a terrible Mystique.
When I've seen her in the X-Men cartoons, I always knew she'd, F shit up. And it's like, because she was a cold-hearted woman. You could even ask Nightcrawler. He hated her. He just wanted love from her, and she was cold-hearted, he said.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, she was like the expert assassin, infiltrator, spy, whatever you want to call her, mercenary. And yeah, like the Rogue storyline, because Rogue is Nightcrawler's adopted sister. So it's like, but yeah. And I want to see for one of the people who play Nightcrawler, and this is the only one I would say for casting would be the guy from Dune, the main character.
Okay, I can see that.
I mean, I think it'd be an interesting choice, and yeah. But how would you feel about Miss Marvel joining? Because she is confirmed to be the first mutant that we've seen in the MCU.
Miss Marvel,
they confirmed that she's a mutation. So, and they played the X-Men theme like in the background, and
they gotta explain that some more because, like, even without the Bengals and the Infinity Stone energy, what is her mutant power?
Yeah.
They got to explain that a little bit. And then the whole Namor thing, they got to properly introduce mutants. Like, they're kind of rushing. Yeah. Like, I know what you're talking about. Like, they did say that, and she's the first mutant or whatever. And I'm just like,
how?
How? Because the story you're telling me is that the power she has is because of the Bengals and the Infinity Stones. not
And it's
because
like
of her.
we can't use, and that's what I hate. They use that as a trump card for everything for the stones, and it's like we're past that saga, you know.
Right.
And it's like we're in the multiverse saga, and when we're in the mutant saga, I really hope they don't use that as a trump card. Like, oh, I blame the Infinity Stones. Please don't.
Yeah, I don't want that. Like, they need to have a better explanation of like why haven't these mutants been seen before, even though they've always been there.
I
Apparently, they
want
need
them
a
to,
better
okay,
explanation.
I can answer that. I want them to do like a Professor X hid them from everyone, like, you know, because it's telepathy, and like, because they're in the mansion, they're in a remote area, but they're shielded by telepathy, you know?
That doesn't work though, because you mean he hid the identity of millions of mutants because he didn't want to get involved when Thanos came to Earth.
Oh, that would piss a lot of people off, actually. Like, where were y'all at when Thanos showed up?
Right. Like I can see that like with the Sokovia Accords and some other stuff in
Yeah.
the Civil War. Sure, don't get involved in that stuff. Thanos showed up and wiped half of y'all. Mutants were not affected. I mean, I'm sure mutants got blipped too.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I think they just need to think carefully because they should know how much mutants mean to us and X-Men and that whole branch of Marvel in general should mean to us as fans. So they should think carefully about how they play this out.
I know how they should do it, and they technically already started doing it and laying the foundation for this idea.
Okay.
In so many different movies, it's disconnected threads, but because of Deadpool and Wolverine, you can make it make sense.
Okay.
This is how they introduce mutants into the MCU. You collapse the multiverse. Because we know the mutant saga takes place after the multiverse saga, right?
Yeah.
And they're using the multiverse saga to set up mutants. Deadpool Wolverine, you already brought up the whole fact that the X-Men universe is Earth 1000,005 or whatever.
Yeah.
Collapse the multiverse. Do what they did in the Arrowverse or whatever on the CW shows and in Flashpoint. Collapse the multiverse and go from there.
Okay. Yeah, that would be interesting.
You can go and recast whoever you need to recast. You can bring back whoever you want to bring back. Redo contracts. Do whatever you got to do. Mutants weren't there for Thanos because they were in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Simple.
Okay, and we've seen that in the Marvels too, or in the Marvels actually, because we've seen Beast in there. You know.
Right. You seen Beast in there, then you added so much lore dumping with Deadpool and Wolverine. That whole joke in WandaVision with Boner being Quicksilver from the Fox universe.
That really good. I don't know, man. I like Evan Peters to Quicksilver. When they said that, I'm like, bro.
Yeah, oh my man. That was like such a big oh my god, I can't believe they did it. And then oh my god, they was fucking trolling us the entire time.
It's like, haha, you thought. But no, man, it's like Michael Fassbender even said he would not mind coming back in Magneto, and we fans supported. Like,
yeah.
It's like, bro, he did a phenomenal job at Magneto. Even his speeches, man, and all the X-Men movies he does as Magneto, it's powerful. Like that speech about how he told Professor Xavier, he's like, yes, I tried living with your humans. But after they killed my daughter, he's like, no, I'm going God mode, basically.
Right.
And it's like, I understood that. But no, I also heard, I want your opinion on this before anything else. I heard that Dwayne Rock Johnson is going to play Apocalypse. How do you feel about that?
It depends on how they do Apocalypse, because my problem with the last Apocalypse was, what the fuck? Too much CGI and just you're Apocalypse. You're not a one-off fucking villain. You are a major threat for decades to come. They mentally prepare for you after they finish with you because you're Apocalypse. You come back.
I want them to be scheming in the background. Like, I hope they do Apocalypse well. Like throughout a couple movies, like he is a Thanos little villain to the mutants.
True.
And it's like he was one of the first mutants to be born, and he is Apocalypse. Like his way is the strong survive. He needs to be one of the dominant mutants to survive as Tweed as an X-Men villain. Like I want to be in the background, like what his plans are, and every time it's like a world-ending threat.
Right.
And it's like that's what I'm hoping, man. It's like, and when they said that the runner-up for that would be The Rock, I mean, if they play their cards right, don't kill him off. I mean, I think The Rock could play a good Apocalypse. I mean, if they do the right, writing, directing, and everything.
But again, and I'm bringing up the Denzel Washington point. The Rock is a very specific type of person that if you have in your movie, he's bringing butts to the seats, and people are paying money to see him in the movie. Yeah. You got to do him in a specific way to where he's still The Rock and like has longevity in this franchise, and B, still likable to where, because The Rock is a likable person. He's not going to be a villain, especially after everything he's done with Disney. He's not going to just portray a villain role like that.
But if they, okay, for instance, for example, they don't like they say they kill him off, but they really don't. Like, could you see him playing a good Apocalypse with his acting?
I mean, no, actually, because like he's too iconic and too big. Like all I would see is just The Rock, and I'm just waiting for him to do the people's elbow or that stoic look in the camera, like or that eyebrow shit. Like I don't think The Rock will make a good Apocalypse.
I mean, Oscar Isaac, when in the Age of Apocalypse, he could have done better, in my opinion.
Oscar Isaac was terrible. Yes,
he could have done a lot better. I thought he had potential at first, but.
Like, he had a lot working against him. Like just the CGI alone was terrible and just took me out of the whole movie every time he was in the scene.
It was basically you're a Thanos level threat. So when I heard Age of Apocalypse, I'm like, yes. When I heard that he was gonna be the villain, I was like, yes, I would love to see Apocalypse movie. But when they killed him off, I mean, they had to throw the Phoenix Force against him and everything, and. I don't know, man.
Okay, with that, my comic nerd awakens him, and I'm just like, is the Phoenix Force strong enough to defeat Apocalypse? Like,
I mean, it's enough to. I feel like it's enough to wipe him out for a minute, but like he's a reincarnation type deal. Like he's an immortal mutant. He will always So,
but then at the same time, is Apocalypse even strong enough to go against a fucking cosmic entity?
Well, I feel like he can regenerate, but he ain't gonna defeat him powerhouse wise.
But then one of Apocalypse's abilities is taking other people's powers. It depends on what incarnation of him you use, I know.
Yeah, but I understand that. It's like, it really makes you think, man. It's like, it makes nerds have big debates. Like, you walk past two nerds in a comic shop, you're like, hey, you think the Phoenix Force can defeat Apocalypse? And they just have an uprising rant.
Right.
But no, man, like you said, they should have a young X-Men team roster, and so like Deadpool says in Deadpool 2, enough to carry a franchise for 10 years when he was recruiting members, and that's legit. That's how they should do it. And Morph would be a good one, honestly, because he doesn't age really.
True, and you can kind of get anybody to play Morph, period, because Morph will be a CGI, or not CGI, but heavily makeup character.
Yeah, and it's like, who do you hope, like, who's your favorite mutant that you would like to see in the MCU, out of curiosity?
In the MCU, I mean, obviously Storm, and you said Morph, Gambit and Rogue, Nightcrawler, Jubilee, but only because Jubilee has the potential to become so much more than what she actually is ever portrayed as.
Yeah.
With her powers, because her powers aren't like on a molecular level. It's just when she's young, it's just fireworks, right? I said Nightcrawler. I would love like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. I would love to see them get like a spotlight, and you get Avalanche and Toad and Magneto and Mystique and just a few other of them, and just get them to be like the main not like how it was in X-Men Evolution where they were still in the school, but like you have the main X-Men cast versus the main Brotherhood of Mutants cast, and every now and then they have skirmishes. I would just love to see like versus team stuff versus every couple of years we're getting the X-Men together to do Avengers level stuff.
I would like to see Sabretooth in MCU, man.
Yeah, I mean, technically we already did, but
in the Brotherhood though.
Yeah, I would like to see Sabretooth. Ultimately, I want to see it to where it's X-Men versus Avengers, and we get the actual House of M storyline versus it just referenced in WandaVision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like overall, MCU just need to think carefully about their moves and not like. I think they're rushing just to get the end of the saga because everyone just wants the mutant saga at this point.
Yes, it does feel like that. Plus, everybody's tired of like multiverse storylines.
Yeah, I hear that all the time, man. It's like we want mutants, and it's like bring us the mutants. And after X-Men 97 and Deadpool Wolverine, they're really ran things saying bring us the mutants. But no, I also heard that before we get off, I heard that X-Men, the movie that they're going to be making, is going to have Mr. Sinister as the villain. So it's like. I think that would be interesting because we never got that in the Fox's universe. We got hints and we got post-credit scenes that were alternate post-credit scenes, you know?
Right.
But we never got Mr. Sinister, and Mr. Sinister has the potential to be a really great villain, and he is connected to Apocalypse.
No, he is. He's like the sub-boss to Apocalypse, but again, my issue with them picking anyone as a villain in their storylines is
quickly.
Right, don't kill him off. Like Sinister has a lot to do, like maniacal things to do with the X-Men behind the scenes that we don't know about for decades. You can't just have him in one movie and then kill him off and then all of this other stuff. He has to be alive for a lot of these things to happen until you get to Apocalypse, and then Apocalypse kills him off because he don't need him no more.
Yeah, and that thing about it is, man, and I will say this, the MCU, they could have made a lot better by reusing their villains. Like, for instance, Hela, that would have been a perfect villain to reuse.
Right.
Like, I didn't care much about Thor Ragnarok, I'm not gonna lie. But when they had every time Hela showed up, you know shit was about to go down.
Thor Ragnarok was the best Thor movie.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Like, how do I say this?
No, it was the best Thor movie, but they also killed their villain off. Which again, how do you kill off a god? Isn't her ability like she's the god of death? How do you kill her?
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what kind of made me mad about it. Was she was such a great villain. I liked her a lot. She didn't even have really. She had goals, conquest, but she really didn't have any that related. She was just simply evil, basically, you know. And it's like most people, they have like, okay, Killmonger. He has a reasoning for what he's doing, and you kind of understand his point of view. But Hela, she's like, no, it's my legacy, my destiny to conquer all the realms. And she, you know what I'm saying?
No, I get it. I get it. I get it. I just want to see more of her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. And hopefully, because I hear a lot of people are reprising the road. I hope, and they're saying they're alliancing with Doom in the new movie. I hope that Hela does one, you know?
Right.
Because they're saying in Battle World they're going to alliance with a lot of people in different areas and territories. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing, you know, Hela have her own section and Battle World and alliancing with Doom. And
that could be interesting.
Yeah, but I think overall it's going to be interesting to see. But MCU does kill off a lot of their villains. And I hate that, but like you said, God, Butcher, and everything, Gore.
Cassandra Nova.
Yeah.
She would have made a great villain.
Yes. And it's like some of them, it's like, bro,
okay. You probably had to kill off Cassandra Nova given with how her powers work and all the shit she was doing in that movie. You can't have her just ripping off people's flesh in the next Spider-Man movie. It's not going to make sense.
Some make sense why you got to kill them off. But some, you didn't have to come off. You just did that as a trump card just so you can go to the next movie with the next villain and play your cards again with someone else, like in slot machines. But
Right.
no. And I'm like, also, everyone comment what y'all, if y'all agree that the MCU kills off their people way too fast. But no, it's the MCU couldn't do a lot better, especially in the multiverse saga. When I heard the multiverse saga was coming back, like when it first started, I was like, yes, this is gonna be excellent. This is gonna be magnificent. Like they did good with quite a few of their movies, like Spider-Man: No Way Home, and stuff like that, and Deadpool Wolverine. But they had to bring back the legacy OG actors,
I think the reason why those two movies specifically did good is because of the fan service that they put in those movies.
Yeah. And I think that's what they're trying to do with this is fan service, which they need to do a lot more of, but also need to listen to the fans at the same time, Like if people, do you agree?
I mean, to some extent, I agree. But then other extents, I'm like, no, the fans are going to ruin this. Like, I'll give an example, and it's No Way Home, actually.
Yeah.
So long before No Way Home happened, the whole rumors on the internet, the whole hopes and wishes of all the fans was that we get the three Spider-Mans together in one movie.
Yeah.
So when we got it and we saw Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire pop up in Tom Holland's Spider-Man 3 movie, it was like, yay, this is great, but not really a surprise because it's what I wanted to happen. You feel me?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, that in the instance was great. That was good example of fan service. But like how they did it was bad. Like, why did they both pop up 10 minutes apart or 5 minutes apart at the end of the movie? Yeah. You should have had one pop up way sooner in the movie and then Tobey Maguire pop up at the end or something like that. And it'd been like Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man in the first half or something, just mixed up like that.
Showed up at the end like, hey, what's up, y'all?
Right. Exactly. Like we got these villains from the alternate universes. We need to have more of the Spider-Man throughout the movie instead of both of them showing up in the final act. Now, with Deadpool and Wolverine, I feel like they learned from that because they subverted the expectations and they brought back Chris Evans. And we're like, oh, okay, why is Captain America here? No, it's fucking the Human Torch.
They got you. And it's like, but no, man. Hopefully Marvel learns enough and hears enough good references and stuff and do the research for the mutant saga. And that's all I'm hoping is I'm looking forward to the mutant saga more than I am the multiverse because what the hell.
Right. And again, because of Jonathan Majors and the whole Kang the Conqueror stuff, the multiverse saga is never going to be what it was originally supposed to be. And we'll never see it. So, I kind of want them to just get past all this multiverse stuff and collapse the multiverse, just make it a one singular universe. And I can start actually caring about the characters because now there's stakes again versus it doesn't matter if this character dies. There's a fucking variant somewhere you're going to bring back.
And it's like you don't have to care about the character because they're only temporary, It's like instead we want permanent character that we're gonna actually see and grow a bond and bonds to,
I agree,
but and like we need attached because I don't like getting attached characters then they get killed off, because it's like wasted.
I mean, no, it's fine. I don't mind getting attached to characters that get killed off. Just make sure when they die, either they stay dead and their deaths had meaning. And my prime example is Ned Stark from Game of Thrones. Without the death of Ned Stark, you wouldn't have that series. Yeah. Granted, if certain things had happened, he would have been alive at the end of season 1, and the series wouldn't happen that way anyway. But you need your characters to mean something to the audience. Like we spent the first 9 episodes of Game of Thrones following Ned Stark and his POV and growing with him for you to just kill him off to be not necessarily an insular character, but the catalyst that starts all the other shit that we go down.
Yeah.
So I do want stakes and meaning in my characters. That's why, like I said, this whole multiverse stuff is cool
Like
for
Iron
a
Man.
story, but
That
like
was- that
fucking
makes sense.
multi-decade year phase arc, no, I'm tired of it already.
Yeah, Iron Man made sense why he died and his sacrifice. It was heart like wrenching. So yeah, it's like, bro, when Iron Man Tony Stark died, it left a hole in a lot of people when they seen it. But it's like it makes sense why he died. You know, he sacrificed himself.
Right, and it was a good ending for that character.
Yes, and then when that's why I kind of was a little bit iffy when they said Robert A. Jr. coming back. I'm like, wow, is he come back as Iron Man and like for this one time movie? And it's like Doctor Doom. I'm like, oh, I was like, okay, we'll see how this plays out. But yeah, but everyone, we talked about the mutant saga. We talked about Superman, and we talked about Black Panther 3, our hopes, our expectations, and what we think about it. Mark, you have anything you want to add in there?
No, I think we talked about it too much, actually.
Yeah, but no, I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. Also, follow blerdography, and yes, everyone have a Merry Christmas. Hope you have everything you want and more, and spend time with your family and loved ones. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share our content, and help us reach our goal for 100 subscribers. And yeah,